right, I'm back. Lars, thank you for staying in frame the entire time. I appreciate that. And apparently Greg got dirty. I should have yelled at him when we were at the weed place. The weed. Oh. Anyways. No, that's a running joke with Heather and I because we kept talking about it. And every time one of us would talk about going there, we would inadvertently call it the weed place and then confuse the other one. Oh man. Anyway, we still have to put the stuff together and kill the weeds. We haven't done that yet. So we live in a neighborhood with an HOA, and they get all butthurt about it. Plus, we gotta like start like cleaning up for real people, because some of Heather's family's coming in a couple of weeks. All
right.
Words go here. Am Disneydians NDJSK child.
Thank you, Ginger, for the $1.15 and the weird message. Smoky times. You can tell that Heather is a hardcore pothead, you know, calling it smoky times as referring to those places. So, now we got Heather's mom, dad, aunt, and sister coming to town in what, 2 weeks from tomorrow, right? Because Randy Wade is graduating, so they're all coming into town for that. So we're very excited about that.
Yay!
And it's a good thing he's not a kid that gets embarrassed, because Heather, you know, people will get those lawn signs that'll basically be like, congratulations, you know, to our high school grad, right? And they're usually pretty vague, you know. They'll just say, you know, congratulations to our high school, you know, our high school graduate, you know, 2022. Heather got one that's got his picture and his full first and last name on it, which was bad enough. Yeah. The fact that she wrote his social on the bottom. Yeah. She put her, you know, her maiden name and their first pet on there too. So, you know, yeah. Oh, we got Mother's Day coming up. I'm so bad at buying gifts. Like, very much throughout this goes for Mother's Day, this goes for Christmas, this goes for birthdays, Mother's Day, everything when it comes to Heather. All year. Like, you know, there'll be times. Of course, not near any of these times. I'll be like, oh, you know, that would be kind of a good idea to get Heather for the next insert gift giving day here thing. I gotta remember that. Four seconds later, goldfish, pure goldfish, no clue. And then when it comes around this time, I'm like, oh crap, what did flowers? Which is funny because she doesn't like getting flowers. She doesn't like the gift of flowers. So yeah, she's great at giving gifts, man. She is a trooper. Me, I'm garbage at it.
I'm terrible at gifts myself.
Yeah.
Both giving and knowing what I want.
Yeah, I'm with you on the second one. I think it's got to be difficult for her because, you know, like a birthday or Christmas list for me now is pretty much a mirror image of one when I was 10. Like, I'm not joking. Like, if I got, like, masked G.I. Joe and Legos at either one of those ages, great day. Wonderful day.
Yeah.
You laugh because you agree with me.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I do have a regret not buying you something, Mikey. Does that sound weird?
Yes, but I'm not surprised either, so...
What, that I regret it or that I didn't buy you something?
Yes.
No. Now, we were at a toy show back in March, and some guy was selling the Dreadnought Thunder Machine, and I was so tempted. There is a toy show that comes through every, there's a toy show that comes to Tucson every March, and it's always, my birthday's in March, so it's always near my birthday, and inevitably, every March for, like, when it comes, something comes up and we're broke. Like, we're broke when it comes around, so, you know. Unfortunately, this kid doesn't get embarrassed. He doesn't really, as weird as it is, he really seems like Heather and I are some of his best friends, which makes me feel sorry for the kid. He's got real friends, you know. Yes, Alexander the youngest pretends to not get embarrassed, but yeah. But the bad problem is she put the sign out, and like the next day we had like an insanely windy day, and so, and it's pretty good size because he's got a good size head on him. So of course the sign has to be equivalent. And like if you made his head like a normal size, it would be real blurry. Like I'm just talking about in real life. So it's a pretty good size sign. And Large, go sleep. And you know the little metal stake thing that it
yes.
you know, like that you stick the sign on. It kind of bent, so we just had to bend it back. It's not like it's broken or anything like that. But so it was out for one day, and then now it's in the garage. Yay!
There we go.
We did it. We're also good at sleeping together.
Yep, I put my sleeping bag on my bed.
You're like that weird kid I used to, like, you know, sometimes I would have sleepovers. Just completely no sheets, no blanket, just a, you know, just a big, just an old ratty sleeping bag, and they would zip themselves in. I'm like, you're not camping. This isn't camping. I used to have, oh man, okay, so there was this kid that I went to school with, and he was a nice enough kid. He was kind of quiet, kind of a little bit weird, which, you know, was fun. And this is probably like late elementary, early junior high, right? And his parents were, okay, so like you go to the house, and everything was pretty gaudy, like just in, not John Gotti, but like, you know, a lot of like fake gold things and oil, like reprints of oil paintings and stuff like that. But whatever, you know, everybody teach their own, whatever they like, right? And this kid had the coolest bed. So it was it was a truck, but it was like made out of like wood. You know, someone had, I don't know if like his dad had built it or if like they had bought it and stuff like that. But like the cab of the truck, you could get in and pretend you were driving and all that stuff, and it had little doors with hinges and latches and whatnot. And then and then the bed of the truck, it didn't look like a normal, like a, you know, a Ford F-150. It looked more like a flatbed truck. And then the bed of the truck was a bed, like that was his bed. It was actually kind of cool, you know. And this kid had a good amount of toys, and I remember I went to his house to stay the night. And like I said, his parents kind of didn't trust anyone ever. They were just super paranoid all the time. And you know, like I was like in a state, like drain their 401k or something. I was like 9 or something, right? And so and his entire floor, I would have to say, shin high, was toys. You could not see it. The bed had toys on it, everything. There was just toys everywhere, just his from wall to wall, corner to corner, just nothing but toys. And I'm not exaggerating. I mean, my shins were shorter, but it was still pretty deep of toys. You really couldn't go in his room. You really couldn't. So I'm like, all right, cool. So, you know, stay the night, you know, pretty normal. And we ended up sleeping on the couches in the living room. So he slept on one, I slept on the other. I fell asleep, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I got up to go to the bathroom, and as I'm walking in the bathroom, I kind of walked past his parents' bedroom, and the door was cracked and whatnot, and he was sleeping at the foot of their bed, like a Cocker Spaniel, like just right there. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Maybe he had a bad dream or whatever. No pillow, no blanket, just curled up. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever. You know, went to the bathroom, went back to sleep. Next morning, I wake up and he's back laying on the couch. So, and I really didn't think about it much. And then later that day, like out of nowhere, he's like, yeah, so you know, I don't know if you noticed, I wasn't on the couch. And I'm like, I got to pee. I noticed you weren't there. It's no big deal. And he's like, oh yeah, well, you know, I like to sleep at the foot of my parents' bed. And apparently that's where he sleeps every night. You know, the girls were little, and sometimes, you know, if they had a bad dream or something like that, they'd sleep in bed with me, and I kind of did that, you know, when I was a kid. And I think everybody kind of did. But yeah, like he was just that was his thing. And I'm like, all right, man, well, more power to you. You got a really cool bed if you can get to it. You know, you gotta put on snowshoes to walk over all the toys. So. But there was another time. So his dad had built not really a tree house per se, but a tree platform. So it was up in a tree. It was maybe like 4 feet by 4 feet and whatnot. And so, you know, I was over there one day, and I don't know if you remember this, Mikey. Yeah, no, he was like 9 or 10. So, anyways, and so we're up in this thing, and do you remember they had made those motorized monster trucks? They were a little bit bigger than Hot Wheels, but they weren't like huge. They were just, and you would just, you know, put like a AA battery and turn it on, and it would just drive, and it would come with like these little cars that would run over and stuff. I don't remember those. So we're up in the treehouse, and we go up there, and he's like, you know, be careful of this board. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, why? He goes, well, that one's not nailed in. So the whole platform was like all nailed in and relatively sturdy. The dad had actually built a ladder, you know, to climb up there. But apparently when it came to this one board, he just hadn't gotten to it yet. And so we're up there, and of course, you know, we're young boys, so we're like, let's see what happens if we drive this toy our parents bought us off the edge of this treehouse, see if it explodes or something like that. So we turn on the little thing and make it drive across the whole platform, and then it drives off the tree. And we kind of, you know, I was kind of crouching down, and he was standing up. And so, you know, I kind of like crawl a little bit, or more just like kind of push forward to see that, you know, what happened when the truck hit the ground. And he walked over to it on that goddamn board. He just saw, and boom, fell out of the tree, broke his goddamn arm right there.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And I'm not joking. So this was, I would probably say I was maybe about 10 years old at the time. I am now currently 45. And I can guarantee you, after the last 35 years, his mom is still convinced I pushed him out of that tree.
Well, yeah, of course you did, Modi.
I might have. Even though he's told his mom 1,000 times that he stepped on the board, that, you know, and apparently everybody knew about this board. Like, why nobody, like, the board, like, everybody knew. And he's like, no, Mom, I stepped on it, and it dropped out, and I fell. Oh, okay, yeah. I was never allowed at that kid's house again. Which the kicker was, here's the kicker. After that, I'm guessing, like, his mom yelled at his dad. His dad ended up finishing the treehouse, and it looked awesome from the outside. Because I was never allowed to go in it, because apparently I pushed William out of the tree when I was 10, so. So the point is, kids, if you don't want me to be in your treehouse, I'm gonna break your arm. That was the point of the story. Everybody out there. So William, and I'm actually going to give up his middle name, or his last name, just because I want to apologize, just in case he has like a cooler tree house. Like maybe he lives in a tree house now, like his dad built him like a tree city or something. But you got to keep in mind, he was, and don't get me wrong, I wasn't a cool kid or anything like that, but he was kind of a real quiet, kind of squirrely little nerdy kid and stuff like that. But his last name was Wildman, and I was like, man, that is so unconnected. I've been doing this for 8 years. Yeah. So, William Wildman, if you live in a tree city that your father built you, please convince your mother that I didn't push you out of the tree so I can come check it out.
Or if you just happen to see this video, say hi in the
No,
comments.
let me come to your tree city. Mikey, don't get in the middle of this. This is very important to me. Alright, so I made the stupid bee thing.
Yay!
I should try and make it
bee
really-
thing.
Alright, No, different. Is his last name Wildman? Because if so, maybe I did.
Although the timelines don't add up, but hey.
I pushed him so hard out of the tree for it, he went back in time. Expansion dogs.
Considering dogs usually half your age.
Not quite.
That's why I said like half your age. I didn't say exactly half your age.
That would make me 52. If I remember. Is he 20?
he's-
I think he's 26, right?
For some reason, I think he's only like 23.
Of course,
I
let
don't
us
know.
know.
Yeah, probably is 26 because he's just naive for his age,
Yeah.
or at least just for knowledge-wise of the world.
I thought he was like. I got 24 and 26 both in my head. I don't know which one it is.
He's
Hey,
26.
look at that!
Okay.
Yay!
Yay, Modi remembered something.
Look at that. See, if you guys want me to remember your age, you just have to be a Patreon for the better part of the last 5 years. I don't remember my age at most of the time, so. Alright, so we got that. What did I get? I got some stuff. Alright. I wasn't planning on working on bees, but I'm kind of in a bee mood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Seems like a B guy. Definitely not an A guy.
Wow. Ooh, those are pricey.
We've got diamonds and emeralds.
Nope, no missing. Oh, honeycombs. That makes sense.
Oh, Heather. Always gotta be so naughty.
That's her thing.
Yeah, I know.
I know. Alright. Hey, stop pushing me, B.
Push him around, B. You bully him.
Yeah. I had mine carved into a tablet, so it works out. What's these? Oh, honey treat. Oh, my bad.
Huh. Well.
La-ti-da, right? Oh, man.
He needs a fancy honey treat.
Yes. Alright, let's see. What the hell? Anyway. I can't stop thinking about William Wildman's Tree City. I want to be a part of it so bad. I have no idea. Alright, I think I need to catch more of these. Now, Mikey, have you ever broken any bones?
Nope.
What about on other people? No?
No.
No secret MMA fighting thing you got going on in the background that I don't know about?
No, the worst I did was sprain both my wrists.
At the same time?
Yes.
Ooh.
Fell off my bike and landed just wrong, or just right, depending on how you want to look at it, and yep. I sprained both of them, never told my folks about it, just kind of
really?
as best I could with, yeah. I still remember trying to pour out of a gallon of milk into a glass with both my wrists hurting, and
alright, everybody sleep.
it was an adventure. But, no.
I broke my collarbone when I was 12 or so. I didn't break it. Someone else broke it. That was supposed to sound a lot less menacing.
Yeah,
well, you know,
mission failed.
You don't borrow money from the mob unless you're going to pay it back, and if you don't, you know what's going to happen. What can I say? I was 11, but no, I was I was 12, and this is kind of a ridiculous story.
What? A ridiculous story from you? No.
Yeah, I know. But this is, and you got to be scared when I say it's a ridiculous story. You know what I'm saying? So I had, I was at my neighbor's house, this kid, and another one of our friends was over there. And we were kind of wrestling around just on the carpet. It was the 80s, that's what you did. Yeah, I guess this would have been late 80s. And, so, we're, like I said, we're kind of just screwing around, wrestling around, whatever. And ironically, that's not how I got hurt. It wasn't the wrestling. But, and I'm gonna try to explain this, and you're gonna have to use your imagination to picture it. And, you know. So, one of the kids was laying on the ground in front of me. Okay, just laying there. And I'm standing at, like, the top of his head. So his head is near my feet, and his feet are away from me, the opposite way, right? You with me so far? Can you visualize? His name was Matt, if that helps your visualization at all. Okay. So it's Matt. Anyways, so he's like, give me a hand up, because, you know, when you're 12, you really need a hand to get off the ground, but whatever. So I'm like, all right. So, and mind you, most of this is my stupidity, and I'm aware of this. I'm not going to argue this at all. What's doing here? So he puts his hands up, and I grab his hands, and I kind of walk, like, straddling over his body. Okay? So I'm walking from his head to his feet with my feet on, like, the either side of his body. And I've got his hands in my hands. So as I'm walking, I'm pulling him up, but my hands are now under my legs, like between my legs, pulling him up, right? Are you with me? Did I lose you? His name's Matt.
Okay. I'm following you.
All right. So when he's up on his feet, pretty much his hands are pretty much just right in my taint area, you know, as most 11, 12-year-olds do. And so him being funny thinks it would be funny to then pull my hand straight up, which then makes my body, what are you? I'll take you. Which then makes me kind of do like a half flip. Which when you're going to be doing flips, you want all of it. You want to try and get as much of the flip as possible, because if not, your feet are in the air and your collarbone's on the ground. So that's what happened. Well, you know, and this was, you know, my mom was, I want to say it was during summer or something like that, but I know my mom was at work, right? and we were on some sort of break, and from school, not me and my mom. That'd be weird. So, and my friends had to go to baseball practice. They were like in Little League and stuff like that. And so, and it hurt, but you know, I'd fallen and hurt myself a million times, right? So they take me over to my house. They, you know, they help me up, helping me with the arm that doesn't feel like it's gonna fall off. And they take me over to the living room and at my mom's house, and they put, you know, because back in the, and maybe kids don't do this anymore. I used to just sit on the floor and watch TV and like put a pillow down and lay, because the TVs weren't big and they were far away from the couches for some reason. So yeah, I grew up sitting on the floor. It's my bad posture and my constant need to sit cross-legged. So they prop up some pillows, you know, they give me the remote and turn the TV on, and then they leave. Well, I'm home alone now at this point. And, you know, this is way pre-cell phones. I think the closest phone was in the kitchen. Well, here was the only problem. I couldn't get up. Like, I couldn't get myself onto my feet. Because anytime I put any sort of, like, pressure, my shoulder was killing me. It hurt so bad. And so it was my first experience being a turtle on its back. I'd gone full shell at that point. And, yeah, like 4 hours until my mom got home from work. And I just laid there. And it sucked. Because it didn't hurt too bad if I wasn't moving. But if I moved at all or I tried to get up, I tried to roll and get like onto my stomach. So maybe like with my knees and my one good arm, I couldn't do it. It was insanely painful. And, so finally my mom gets home, and, you know, I kind of explain everything that went on. And the most important thing, she helped me get up, because I had to pee for like the last 3 or 4 hours I was waiting for. I had to pee so bad. And like I said, once I was on my feet, I could walk and everything like that. So I peed and everything. And then, you know, that night my mom put me to bed. And this is just classic, like, 80s, 90s mom. She, like, put a heating pad on my shoulder. And I'm like, all right, well, sure, maybe my shoulder's just cold. Okay, we'll do this, we'll do that, right? Couple of aspirin, a heating pad. All right, you're fine. That's 1980s medical stuff right there. And yeah, I slept that night, which is weird because I usually can't sleep on my back, but I really didn't have a choice. And then the next day, I'm like, Mom, it's still killing me. And she's like, all right, fine, let's go see the doctor. You're paying for it. No, I'm kidding. But, so we go and see the doctor. It's like, yep, broke your collarbone. Now my mom felt real bad because at this point it had been like, I don't know, 20 hours since I broke it. So, but the funny thing is the collarbone, you can't have a cast. There's no really cast they can put on it. Now back in the day, they used to have this thing called a figure 8, which it was kind of this, it was like this foam strap thing that looked like the infinity symbol or a figure 8, you know, like the number 8 on its side. And the concept was is you would put it on and it would pull your shoulders back. And the idea is to have, to make sure your collarbone sets right. And then it turns out, you know, years later they found those things did not work. And if they did, and if anything, they made things worse. So that's awesome, you know, afterwards and all. But yeah, that was it. That was the only thing, you know, while it's a weird bone that you can't, you know, put really anything on. Because you would have to pretty much have like a full chest cast, you know, like immobilizing your one arm and everything. So they just let it heal. So I don't know if one of my collarbones is wonky. I mean, it's not like sticking through the skin or anything like that, but, you know. Mark Ragnar, thank you so much for the follow. And, yeah, so it was cool. I got out of PE in junior high. That was awesome. I had to get out of wood shop. Couldn't do any of those classes or anything like that. So, yeah, that was fun. That's the only bone that I think I've ever broken. That's about it. Nothing cool like an arm or anything like that. Oh, good witch, you got a Mr. Glass kind of thing going on about you. You should probably just bubble wrap yourself and then sit and wait. Anyways. Heather's broken and sprained and twisted a lot more stuff just since we've been together. She broke her toes and didn't do anything. And now one of her toes looks like Harry Potter scar a little bit. It's my favorite. I call it her wonky toe. Every time I walk by, I pet it and tell it I love it. She doesn't like that. Alright, these beads are pissing me off. Maybe I'll do something else. Yeah, I mean, you break an arm, you get a cast, people get to sign it, you take it off, it smells funny. I'd rather have a I don't want to break anything. I'd rather have a broken arm than a broken, leg, because that seems like more of a pain in the butt. Yeah, Heather and I, my knees and ankles pop all the time. It's from, a decade of skateboarding. And then Heather has the same problem because she surfed for many years when she was younger. So same kind of concept. So yeah, if it's like quiet in the house and Heather and I are walking around, it sounds like someone's playing the spoons. Oh well. All right, Mikey, have you ever gotten any stitches?
Nope.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, I was a fairly safe kid. I didn't do much even back then, so...
I think my things that got hurt was just not like I was playing sports or anything. I got 10 stitches in the back of my head. Here's the funny part. Okay, so I was hanging out with another kid. This was not Matt. Just for reference, this kid is named Clint. We're hanging out at my house, and I'm going to give you kind of a time frame. It was the day that Double Dare premiered. Okay. You guys remember that? So this is like late 80s, 87, 88, something like that. I think I was probably like 10 or so. Maybe 87. And, oh, Harlock, you're a pain in the butt. Got him. Burn.
Oh, totes.
And, so we were hanging out, and then afterwards, of course, we were all kind of jazzed about it. And I was jumping backwards off the arm of our couch, which I did fine. I landed, and then I took a step back, and there was a pillow right behind me on the floor, and I kind of tripped over it and then hit the back center, pretty much where the bald spot would be, someday when it comes in. On the corner of our solid oak coffee table. Then laid there and bled for a while, and then went on with and then my mom was, of course, out, and she comes home and she's like, oh God, that's bad. So I went and got 10 stitches in my head. Here's the fun part. That coffee table is currently in Heather and I's living room. It was a two side table coffee table set that was in my mom's living room my entire life, from when I can remember. And yeah, later on when I moved out, my mom gave it to us, and that is actually the same coffee table that has been in my living. So I've really had the same coffee table in my living room for the better part of my entire life. And Heather and I need to sand it and restain it because it's pretty beat up, The point is, the coffee table and myself, we made up. We're good.
Well, I didn't break my nose. I did get hit in the face with a baseball bat.
Oh.
We were playing, there was 4 or 5 of us. We were just playing baseball, not like a, real game. It was just, somebody was pitching, somebody was hitting, and I was actually catching at that point. There was a wooden baseball bat, and she just happened to bring the bat back just the right angle and caught me right in the nose. Blood everywhere.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
hurt like hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because when you're a kid, it's like, oh my God, the bone shattered. There's not a bone in there, but in your mind, you're thinking, oh,
Yeah.
I sneezed. Was that bone that came out? Get that. I'm gonna need that. Bring that back. Bring back my nose bone shards. Bring back my shards. Yeah. No, I mean, I think the surprising thing for me is I skateboarded for 10 years, and I never I didn't do big, crazy stuff. I wasn't ollieing down a set of 25 stairs or anything crazy like that. Because I was even young, I was still like, oh, I can't afford this. Even when I was a kid, didn't understand what that meant. So yeah, I did almost lose the tip of my pinky one time when I was 6. My brother, who at the time would have been 20, was already married to his first of 3 wives so far, and I was staying. They lived in a trailer right outside of Tucson, in town, or not a town, but an area right outside of Tucson, and so. They kind of had made cinder block stairs. They had kind of, have you seen that in a trailer where they take like cinder blocks and they make kind of stairs out of them, which is great, except they weren't mortared together. They were just stacked.
Yeah.
And here's the funny part: they work 99.99% of the time. And actually, it wasn't anything wrong with the stairs, but because of that, there was no handrail or anything like that. And I was little, taking a step down was a much bigger deal than it is now, And my sister, I don't know where my brother was, but my sister-in-law was, we were going somewhere, I don't remember. And as I'm going down, she had the door open. I had my hand near the door jamb. When the door is open, there's that, where the hinges are. And it was kind of a big wooden door, which I always found funny on a lot of these older trailers, because I'm like, you can just punch through the wall, right? I don't understand why you have such a heavy door. When you close the door, your trailer leans. That's a lot of weight. And but to close it, you kind of had to slam it. Well, apparently I didn't get my hand out in time, and my pinky was inside that crack where the open hinges would be, and so she closed it on there. And I remember, I want to say I might have actually been 7, because I was in 1st grade. And so yeah, and of course I scream, and she opens the door and freaks out, and I don't really remember a whole lot, but from what I was told, I guess technically I broke my pinky bone, because but apparently it was there was a hunk of skin that was kind of holding the pinky on, and when you get that band for your glasses and then you put your glasses down by your chest, it was like that band. It was just holding my pinky on, from the first knuckle bendy area up, and they sewed it on and everything's fine, and I can't even really I know which hand it was, but you can't really tell. No problems, no anything, no not feeling and whatnot. And the funny part is I can kind of remember that day, and I'm sure I cried, and it hurt and sucked and everything like that. But the most traumatizing thing came about 2 weeks later. Finally had taken everything off, all of the bandage and whatnot. Of course, I had stitches that were on there. They were still on there and everything like that. And I remember I was in 1st grade PE, which basically all you do is you get a parachute and you throw it up in the air and you run under it. That's all the PE was in 1st grade. And as I'm doing something, my entire pinky nail just fell off. And it was just, for some reason, I remember being not the fact that my pinky was barely being held on by a piece of skin just a couple weeks earlier. But I really felt weird. I didn't think anybody would be my friend. I didn't have a pinky nail. That's freaky. That's some freaky stuff there. So remember that freaking me out. So. So you ever been shot? Oh, go on.
No, but I was helping my father put together one of those metal sheds, you know, type thing.
Yeah.
And we were putting the roof things on it, and one of them slipped off. Instead of letting it fall to the ground, I stupidly reach out and try to grab the thing. It caught my ring finger right at the first joint, on the first one closest to the hand, to the main hand part, and just dug into it. I could see bone.
Oh.
Probably should have gotten stitches, but we just wrapped it up with a lot of bandages.
So the answer to the question of, hey, Mikey, you ever gotten stitches? The answer probably should have been, I probably should have. That should probably. I don't know if it would have been a no, but probably should have. That should have been the answer to that.
Because it dug in. I almost fainted when I realized I could see bone. Because I don't like blood in general, anyways, of my own.
Yeah.
But that really.
You made it sound like you really enjoyed the blood of others.
Well, no.
Hey, to each his own, buddy.
I don't like blood in general. I'm not good with it.
That's exactly what a serial killer would want us to think. I know you're not a serial killer. You wouldn't go.
I've never killed cereal in my life.
I just know that I couldn't be a serial killer because there's a lot of going out. You know, stalking your prey, getting rid of the body, and
I don't know. It could be one of those ones that lures them to my home and keeps them in the basement or something like that. Except I'm in Florida, I don't have a basement.
Yeah,
so,
I'm in Arizona. We don't have basements here, so like if any place here has a basement, it's like a talking point. It's like a big deal.
It's somebody from the north that moved down there and purposely had one put in.
Yeah. We go into yard sales. You know, sometimes we end up, we're in Arizona, which is a lot like Florida in reference to the people that migrate here. So there's a lot of estate sales. I'm going to say that in the nicest way possible.
A lot of little doggies dropping dead.
Yeah,
okay.
basically. And then sometimes also because it's Arizona and it's 1,000,000 degrees out, a lot of the time we have you'll have people that will have a yard sale, but they don't want to deal with outside. So they'll literally kind of quarantine off their living room, move their furniture and stuff out, and then just have it in their living room, right? Well, yeah, it's different than those, goofball. Anyways, but they'll have you come inside, and there's this one neighborhood in town where they have kind of a weird split level thing where it's kind of odd, and I guess from what Heather told me, it's actually a lot more normal back east. So basically, when you walk in, there's like a living room and a kitchen and everything. Like you walk in the front door on the left hand side. So your kitchen, your dining room, your living room, all that stuff's on the left hand side. And you come up a couple of steps when you go into the house, right? Then on the right hand side, there's a staircase that goes down and a staircase that goes up. And the staircase that goes down goes to like a half basement, meaning like it's only halfway submerged underground. So like there's windows at the thin windows at the top that you can see out at foot level. And then upstairs is where the bedrooms are, but it's not fully second floor. Like it's a first floor and a second floor, but the middle of those floors is equal to the middle of, I don't know how to explain it. It's really weird. So, but yeah, we saw some of those and I was like, wow, there's a basement in Tucson. That's crazy. I mean, I get where you are because technically, Florida, at least parts of Florida are real marshy, really wet ground. And I've always said, oh, we don't have basements here because, I guess the ground's too sandy or something like that. But the funny part is we don't really have. So here's a big misconception a lot of people have. And I know Heather and the boys had this when they moved here, and I think she's still a little disappointed about it. I live in the desert. It's not like the Sahara. We don't have dunes.
More sage and rough and like rock and
yeah. So we
low grass and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of mesquite trees. Yeah, it's split level. Is that what it's called? Okay, see, but we don't have. I'm not used to those here, so. And so, yeah, but it's not like, you know, I know a lot of places where their ground is a little bit questionable. They'll do a lot of kind of building up on stilts. Like, let me ask you this, Mikey. Does your house have a crawl space underneath it?
Not the one not the one I'm in, but I have seen them. You see them down here sometimes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know like a lot of places like you know, where there's a decent amount of rain. Basically, the house is kind of up on posts, and then, you know, then it's built, you know, with around that, so that you have a crawl space in your house. We don't have anything like that here, so everything, the foundation is just in the ground. So I've never really, and there are places like, there's this one place downtown I know, this shop that has like a huge basement under it. So yeah, I've never. The only thing, hey Tasha, the only thing I can think of for here is that it's, here we don't have a problem with space. Like, we have nothing but land, you know. Like, you think of like a lot of the cities and even suburbs and stuff like that, they're really trying to squeeze things in. So here we have, really, really late, but you made it. We got about 10 minutes. So. Yeah. What's that right now? What's this thing? I don't know. I don't know why we don't have basements. But because we have a ton of room, so a lot of the houses here, especially back in the day, was what they're called ranch-style houses. Two-story houses were really obscure here for like the whole time I grew up. I knew one kid who had a two-story house, and it was because his dad was an architect, so he lived kind of in my neighborhood, but like right outside of it. So his dad had designed it, and I mean, it was just a normal house, but yeah. So when I moved in, even before Heather moved here, when we moved into the last house that we lived in, the one with the crappy landlord that you guys have all heard me, you know, complain about for 3 years that we lived there, the house that Heather and the boys moved into, that was the first time I ever lived in a house that had stairs. Ever. Now I'm used to it, and I complain about it because, you know, I don't remember that I left my drink downstairs until I get to the top of the stairs, that kind of thing, you know. But yeah, I growing up as a kid, I thought stairs in that house, and maybe that's why I didn't have as many broken bones, because I would have, you know, ridden things down the stairs all the time. Maybe that's why I you know, maybe that saved me. So, but I mean, back east where you grew up, that you probably had houses with stairs and stuff, right?
I didn't live in any that had more than one floor, but yeah, they were common, yeah.
Oh, you didn't have, okay.
I've only lived in ones that were single story or an apartment building that I had to take stairs to get up to the top of. But
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was just something I never really had to deal with, so. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, okay. I think Heather did some research for me. That's nice. Well, here's another stream/episode where I really didn't get much done. I just do everything off camera and then just run around in circles and chit chat with Mikey about, you know, the times we put holes in us. But I don't know. I would think in Arizona a basement would be great because aren't basements generally cooler than the rest of the house?
Yeah, because they're underground, so that. But like I understand what she's saying, that with it being real rocky and real hard, it might be difficult to dig it out to make a basement.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, like it's I can understand if it was like, oh well, the you know, it's too sandy or it's too wet or anything like that, where it won't make it structurally sound. Now it just sounds like laziness. I don't want to dig that far.
The caliche soil makes it very hard to build.
Wasn't that the mother of dragons in the... Yeah, you would think in Arizona we would be as much, you know, hobbit type people living, you know. I would love to have a basement and then just sit down there until winter comes. I just described me being a bear, and that's a cave now that I realize it. So. So, honey, what you're telling me is I can't start digging under our house?
Not easily, no.
I get a shovel. I get a couple of them.
You might need like a backhoe or something.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't you be calling me names, Mikey. Wow. Is the... I'm going to pretend that, Heather, you just wrote that from knowledge, that you did not copy and paste that from Google. Oh, damn it. You broke my immersion, honey. Tell me you looked
I
up
was
on
thinking
Google.
Heather was secretly a building
Yeah, she's a
person.
secret urban geologist. I was in a techno band called Urban Geologist. Back in 1994. I bit into a glow stick and got real sick, so I had to quit, but, you know. Alright, we're going to wrap things up.
Oh, God. Oh,
I want anybody on the YouTube, I want you to comment down in the I want each person who watches to comment, still here. Because I can't imagine anybody's watching this anymore, so. Well, Large, your frost line goes down to the core of the Earth. I read something the other day that's pretty interesting. Here's a little Modi science fact. You ready? You know how the Earth has a hot molten core, and then has like an outside crust, holding the hot molten core in it. You know what that makes the Earth, right? Ravioli. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap things up and hang out. I'm just saying by definition. We're gonna go hang out with Heather. We're gonna raid her, so make sure you guys stick around. I just hope Mikey keeps laughing through the whole intro. That'd be great. Anyways, but over on the YouTube side, remember, like, subscribe. Let me know down in the comments if you're still watching, and if so, sorry. And let me know what bones you broke. And then don't forget, if you guys want to come hang out on Heather and I's Patreon servers, that's 12 servers. Hang on our Discord. Be in our Saturday streams, all that fun stuff. You can do that by becoming a Patreon yourself. Go check that out, and check out Host Havoc for all your server needs. For everybody on the Twitch side, I want to thank you guys for coming and hanging out and dealing with this. Big thank you to Mikey and Large for coming and hanging out in the server with me. Let's see here, where are we at? I'd like to thank R3. Is his name Arthur? That'd be amazing. For the bits. I want to thank Space Fish and Mikey for the resubs. And a big thank you to Ginger and Goodwitch for your donations. You guys are all awesome. I will be back in 3 hours, and Heather and I will be playing Rustic Waters, I think, right? Yes, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when you get there. But make sure you guys stick around because we are going to raid Heather. And Greg, no. You've already had your time. Yeah, and until next time, we want to thank you guys so much for hanging out. Mikey, any parting words?
Thanks for being here and maybe being entertained or at least not being offended by us.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's all we can hope for. Large just waved. Awesome. Yeah, and also remember, no matter what they say, don't tackle comedians. Anyways, guys, till next time, I want to thank you all so much for hanging out, and we'll see you guys later.
Bye.